Thank you guys for tuning in to us Anderson Brothers and our shenanigans gaming with all the flying and sniping and just general fun we've been having. But this video is going to be about the plane chase camera roll. Now, all of us, when we learn how to fly just with the game out of the box, this roll is set to on. It's the default. So this is generally how most of us learn how to fly, right? Where you kind of feel like you're in control and the horizon doesn't turn with you. It really feels like you're flying when you have it on this setting. And if any of you are like me, we spent a lot of time getting real used to being able to fly in some of these nooks and crannies on the map and do some cool dives and things. But one of the questions I get is, how do I do that with the roll off? Or really, why would I turn the roll off when I'm good enough like this? And if I do decide how to turn the roll off, what are some of the best ways to get used to it? So I'm going to talk a little bit about that as best I can, because I am by no means the ultimate resource on this. So in my settings, I have it off right now, or I have it on right now, but normally I fly with it off. I'll put a little link here. You can see some more of my settings and how I fly. Silk, who is a gamer who plays on PC, as well as I Smash Buttons, who plays on Xbox, are great resources as far as settings go to kind of compare notes on. So you can take a look at mine and take a look at theirs and decide for yourself. But as far as just one setting, whether the roll is on or off is going to be the focus of today's video. So, like I said, I always flew like this, but only recently have I turned the roll off, because what I noticed with going against really good pilots is they were able to turn towards the ground in a manner that I wasn't comfortable following. So they were turning sharp towards the ground, and I'll play a little clip of what I witnessed here that ultimately inspired me to learn how to fly with the roll off, because these guys were just cutting towards the ground, and I felt like with my roll on, I was going to crash if I tried to follow.
Get back to the fight, soldier.
So yeah, just seeing some of the maneuvers that they were able to pull towards the ground led me to believe that there was something I wasn't doing, or something that I needed to learn to become a little bit better and be able to follow them. So the real catalyst for making the switch was not too long after, in that same game, I got in a dogfight with a really good pilot, and the maneuvers he was able to pull was just spectacular. And so I'm going to go ahead and show that whole clip. It may be a long clip, but I think it's worth showing in its entirety, because there you'll get to see what it's like with one plane, me, trying to chase with the camera roll on against a plane who's clearly flying with the camera roll off. And I tell you, immediately after that dogfight, I sent Jive Turkey a message. And I gotta say, not only is he an amazing pilot, he's also he's a class act. I mean, he and I talked at length about settings, and he did confirm that flying with the roll off was one of his preferred settings. Now, he chalked it up as strictly a preference. He didn't seem to think it made much of a difference, but as someone who was following him, I felt like I saw the difference. And so I turned mine off and went through the struggle of having to relearn how to fly, which you're going to go through too. I'm just going to warn you. You're going to feel like you're a worse pilot switching from the camera roll on and off. In fact, you'll lose some dogfights that you otherwise would have won. But that's part of it, is sticking through it, being patient, and just taking the time to do so. All I hope is, I know that clip was long, but I hope that illustrated the difference between the camera roll on and off. So I'm just going to go ahead and turn this off here. It's under Options, Gameplay, Advanced. And just by toggling it, you can see the camera field of view switch. So now we got it off, and if this is you for the first time, you may feel a little constrained. Instead of being able to fly all free and free-spirited, it feels like your reticle is just kind of dragging your plane through the sky as if it's some sort of marionette or Muppet attached by a string. The reality is, though, is the first thing you do when you're flying like this, it may look differently, but take your left thumb off the joystick and only fly with your right. In fact, the first couple times you're flying, just use the right stick like I'm doing here. I don't have fingers anywhere else but on the right stick. I don't have any fingers on the controller right now other than my right thumb, because with the roll off, that right stick becomes like a joystick, and you'll feel pretty nimble. So to sort of isolate this new setting and really get used to it, just fly around only using your right stick, like on the practice range, or maybe on a low intensity match where you're going against some lesser pilots. Just practice. Given that this is going to be about tips, here's first tip. If this is your first time flying like this, avoid the ground. Do not fly near the ground. I guarantee you will crash. In fact, you're going to crash several times. I don't care how good you are as a pilot. If you're used to flying with the roll on and you switch it off, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you right now, as someone who went through it, you're going to crash a shit ton. Like, don't try and do these kind of tight little train maneuvers like I'm doing right now if you're just getting used to it. Don't worry though, those things will come in time, because flying with the roll off, really it's about where you're looking and kind of having to adjust your spatial awareness a little bit. So just talking about that, when I'm turning like this, see, most of you are probably looking at the reticle as I'm doing this. What I'm looking at is the edge of the screen that's on my field of view. Essentially, I'm looking at where I'm about to turn, not looking at the reticle itself. And then when I get close to the ground, I'm more looking at my wings. Again, not looking at the reticle, I'm looking at making sure my plane is going to fit through the little tight nooks that I'm looking for, as opposed to that feeling like you're flying the whole plane that you get with the roll on, if that makes sense. So essentially with it off, I am adjusting where I look on the screen. I am adjusting my expectations for how the plane's going to handle. And really, you know, I was going to do a whole video on tips and tricks for this, but the bottom line is you just got to practice. I feel like some of that video evidence that I just showed you is a good impetus for learning to do so. And who cares if you have to relearn how to fly? For me, it kind of made the whole process fun again. You know, you fly for a while and you get used to a certain point. Me turning the roll off made it a newfound challenge. So I hope you find the same with it. I hope you have some fun, and best of luck trying to improve your pilot game skills.